Alright guys, today we're going to get started with our final project working with our skills. Okay, we've been learning about intermediate colors, line designs, block lettering, and then also our skill working with a ruler. Okay, so today we're going to get into the final, and this is going to be one we're going to really look at your skill level with all of these little things. Okay, alright, here's an example that I created the other day. And I used V, I used my last name for it. You could use your first initial or your last initial. It's really up to you on what you choose. Okay? So I'm going to do an example here to help you get started. You're going to be working on a board for this project, and what's going to happen is that's going to give you a nice frame because we're going to add some tape around the edges. It gives a nice clean edge to your work. So to do a frame, you're going to first of all have this board, and you're going to put your paper on top, and we're going to be using some 1-inch tape to do that. I'm going to go out a little bit here, about right here, so you can see it a little bit better. Okay. And I'm going to take the tape here, and I'm going to kind of measure it as I bring it out. So I just get it out, and I measure how far I want to go. And I put it down, and I'm working with it. Sometimes people like to take it off after you've measured it. You just do a little rip there, holding it nice and straight. And the tape, you want to go half of it over the edge. You pull it tight, and you gotta kind of eyeball it there. Ooh, and that's looking good there. So I've got it down, and then I smooth it out. Okay, you don't want any of those air bubbles in it as you're working with it. Okay? So that's one side, over here. If you don't want to take it off and you just want to go like this and then rip it off once you put it on, that works too. That's usually the way that I do it. I just pull it out, half of the way here, pull it tight, rub it down, rip it off. Okay? It's a little bit quicker that way if you want to try that. Alright, after that you're going to be working with that initial that you chose. Since the first one I did a V, I'm going to do an M. Okay, so I'm going to do that in the front here. So Mr. Valesky, I'm going to take the M here and I'm going to do it on the front. Okay, so I'm going to do a nice big block letter M. When I do the M, you could use a ruler if you'd like, but you don't have to. Some people like to have those lines nice and straight, but it's okay if they're not perfectly straight for this part. So my M, I'm going to start off by doing that block letter, and I want to try to fill up the page. Don't do a little one, guys. Do it as big as you can. Okay? The more, or the bigger it is, the more area you're going to get to do the line designs. It's really going to show up nice. So I'm doing M's, I'm coming down, up. If you need to practice your letter again, do that in your art journal maybe a little bit, or off to the side, or even on the back. M, so go over, down. And then finish that off there. Okay, and then you just, sometimes I like to go over it again, kind of straighten it up in the beginning. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be dividing it up the space. You can use a ruler for this part, or you can freehand it. Sometimes I like to put some curved lines in. That's kind of fun too. So for example, I could just kind of have a line that curves a little bit over here and goes off. I could use a ruler. We're just breaking up the space, trying to get shapes to show up. And I'm starting to see some shapes right here. There's a shape. There's even a little triangle right in there as well. Now these are too big, so I need to keep on dividing those up and making them a little bit smaller. I run one across here maybe. Maybe a kind of a curvy one through here. Maybe one that kind of comes over here. And it looks like I got a kind of a bigger area here and here. So you don't want to do this part too fast because you don't want to have too many shapes to fill in, but you want them to be fairly even in size. It's a nice one there. Looks like I got to go down and over on this one. Looks like over here is a little bit big, so I'm going to cross one over and backing up. And then maybe right up through here. Okay. I think I'm pretty good right now. I don't want to overdo that part and have too many lines, too many things going on there. Okay. So the next thing I would do is I would get into Sharpie, and I'm going to start outlining it and cleaning up the work a little bit. That's going to really make it look nice, and it's going to stand out. And I'm just going to go over and around on this. Okay? So I continue doing that, and this is going to be all the lines, guys, not just the lettering here, but all of them. All right, after that then we're going to start working with those line designs. And again, always refer back to that page in your art journal. That'll help you get some ideas. Or you can look at the wall by the windows. There's a lot of good ideas for lines that you could use. Okay, so you could even just start coming in, doing diagonals, and just kind of go at it. And you're just doing it in those different areas. And I found out this one is kind of big, so I'd want to make sure that I do the same type of pattern in this whole area right here. Okay, breaking it up into different shapes and filling those in. Okay. Let's take a look at this one. So I was able to come up with a lot of good ideas here that I just kind of was building off as I was going. At the end then, what you're going to do is you're going to be taking and coloring in the outside areas with intermediate colors. So mix and match different intermediate colors as you go, and make sure that you use all of the intermediate colors in your work. All right, guys, good luck with your work. Hope it turns out well. Can't wait to see them.